My partner and I needed to submit a PMLA recently and thought I'd share this process. In this video, I'll be talking about what PMLA is, who it's for, the types of questions included, and what to expect after filling out the form. This is by no means a comprehensive explanation of the PMLA, but rather a supplementary material for those who want to know more about the process. The Pre-Marriage Long-Term Visit Pass Assessment, or PMLA, is a free online assessment to be filled out by a Singapore citizen and their non-resident partner before registering their marriage. The purpose of taking the PMLA is really just for the ICA to know whether or not the non-resident partner is eligible for the Long-Term Visit Pass, or the LTVP. So basically, the NR, or the non-resident, is just submitting their info ahead of time for the LTVP application. Taking the assessment is highly encouraged but not mandatory. Again, it isn't necessary, but the advantage of taking the PMLA is a shorter processing time for the LTVP application, which is estimated to be 6 weeks. The processing time of the LTVP without PMLA is up to 6 months, according to the ICA. According to the ICA, you don't need to submit any documents for the assessment, which is true in our case. I didn't need to upload any copy of my documents, even my passport. Before you begin the application, have the following ready. For the Singapore citizen, SingPass and personal information. For the non-resident, passport details and personal information. The online PMLA form must be completed in English. The link of the form can be found in the description box. The PMLA form has 2 parts. Part 1 is to be completed by the Singapore citizen, and Part 2 is to be accomplished by the non-resident partner. Before starting, make sure to disable ad blockers for this website. The Singapore citizen has to log into their SingPass account, then they will be redirected to some reminders and notes before starting the form. Proceed by ticking the I have read and agree to the above advisory note and clicking Next. There are more or less 30 questions in the first part. The Singapore citizen will be asked the following: basic information such as their name, address, identity card number, marital status and history, education qualifications, financial information, criminal records, and the name and contact information of the NR spouse or partner. Upon clicking Next, the SC or Singapore citizen will have a chance to review the information provided at the Confirmation of Singapore Citizens Details part. Once all the details have been reviewed, agree to have read the declaration, tick the checkbox, and submit to generate the reference code and password, which will be needed in Part 2. Take note that once the reference number and password are generated, the couple has 14 days to accomplish the form, or else it will be automatically withdrawn. This part will be filled out by the non-resident partner. Go to the ICA website or click the link in the description box, then click the Retrieve and Complete Part 2 of the assessment form. Input the reference number and password generated from Part 1. Upon clicking Next, the advisory notes page will appear. Tick the checkbox after reading carefully and click Next. The SC's details can be viewed upon clicking Next. The questions for the NR should be at the non-resident's details on the next page. The questions are somewhat similar to the information needed from the Singapore citizen, so there are again more or less 30 questions to be answered. I say more or less because depending on the answer, there might be clarifying questions or questions that will ask for some specifics. Some questions include basic info of the non-resident, whether the non-resident is currently in Singapore, or whether or not they own a property, contact information, travel document details, marital status and history, education qualifications. A little side note about the education qualifications. I was a little bit confused with the education qualifications listed because I wasn't aware of many of them. It turns out an honors degree is kind of the same as a bachelor's degree. The honors 1 to 3 refers to the degree classification awarding students based on their GPA. In my case, I graduated with a bachelor's degree with no merits, so I chose pass degree. Other information that must be provided are financial information, medical information, and criminal records. Once all the details have been included, review all the information on the next page, which is the confirmation of non-residence details page. At the end of the same page, there will be a declaration agreeing to have completed the form with correct information. Tick the checkbox and choose the preferred language to be used for the outcome letter or the LLE. Click Submit to finish part 2. Now it's time for the submission part, which will be done by the Singapore citizen. And now the final stage. The Singapore citizen will log in to their MyICA and scroll through the e-services for the pre-marriage LTVP assessment. Click on the retrieval assessment, and then the next step is just reviewing all the information provided by the couple. At the end of the page, there will be another declaration where the IC number is required before clicking Submit. Upon clicking Submit, it will land on the acknowledgement page where the application reference number and some reminders about the application status can be seen. And it's finished. Don't forget to save as PDF for additional proof of an accomplished PMLA. Within a month, the couple should receive the result of their assessment through email. The SC can also check the status on the MyICA account, Inquire Assessment Status. The couple will be issued a letter of LTVP eligibility or LLE, which is valid for 1 year. The LLE can be used in the NR's LTVP application. Take note that the LLE is not an immigration pass, and it does not guarantee that the non-resident will get an LTVP. There is no official information on ICA's website about a rejected PMLA. I've read on various forums about couples having their PMLA be rejected, and many of them are left clueless as to how to move forward. Why did they get a negative outcome? Do they resubmit an assessment form? There were so many questions surrounding a negative outcome of the PMLA. Some people on these forums got married even without taking the assessment. Again, PMLA isn't mandatory after all, just strongly encouraged. The NR just went ahead and applied for an LTVP after their marriage and got the LTVP. These entries were posted between 2021 and 2022. So we're not really sure if there have been changes made so far in 2023 in regards to their parameters for, the PMLA assessment. Even though it isn't mandatory, my partner and I decided to go through with the PMLA just because we want to go through all the steps that would help us close the distance sooner. We completed the form last June 17, and by the 28th of June, we had already received our LLE through email. To retrieve the LLE, first go to the ICA website and click on Check Status or Make Appointment. Next, click on Pre-Marriage Long-Term Visit Pass Assessment, and then click Inquire Assessment Status. Use the reference number and password generated during the assessment. Now the form can be downloaded. The PDF file is password protected, so to get the password, type the last 4 digits of the application reference number, the non-resident's year of birth, and the non-resident's travel document number. And there you have it. Don't forget to save the file. I hope this has been helpful for the Singapore citizen and non-resident couples out there who have marriage in mind. And if there's anything I missed, please post a comment so that other people can also figure out what to look for and expect in the PMLA.